All right, guys, listen up. So we're gonna start a composition.
Composition.
Mr. Vias is just observing. Are you on? You're on.
I was just gonna go photocopy.
Okay. All right, here we go, guys. We're gonna create a new comp.
Let's do it.
Now, guys, our comp's gonna be a HD 1080 by 29.97. Now, let me explain a few things here so we go forward. Now, if I want you to do a 5 second composition, what do you think your duration should be? Now, let me explain this time code. This is your SMTP, Society of Motion Picture Technologists Engineers. So the first, starting from the right-hand side, this is your frames, seconds, minutes, and hours. So if I want this to be 5 seconds, I'm going to tell the duration to be 5. Now, be careful. You got to make sure the zero's in front. It'll mess things up. I'm going to put also 00 here, so it's 5 seconds exactly. My time code, we're going to start at 00. I'm not even sure why you would even change that. Okay. The frame rate, guys, and this presets, technically, guys, just keep it HD. Technically, if you want to do a 4K video, you could, because really, we're not filming anything. We're starting everything from scratch. So if I could drop down this preset, you can see that it actually has 2K and 4K video formats as well. Okay. You can even go old school and do your basic digital video SD, standard definition. Out of curiosity, does anybody know the pixel ratio for a standard definition video? 720 by 480. Very good. Okay. Now, technically, there's other formats of HD, guys. If you look here, there's a 720 format. Just out of curiosity, we'll click on this. You'll see that it's a 720 by 1280. Okay, meaning there's 720 small little squares on the height and 1280 going across. Okay. But for this case, we're going to check on the 1080 29.97, which is essentially a 30 frame rate. What that means that there's actually 30 small pictures in a second that fools your eye to make it look like real life. Okay. Other frame rates, you can use 25 and 24. 24 is more of a cinematic. If you ever see a movie, your frame rate's 24. 25 is also cinematic and also used in European standards. Okay. But for television standards, let's just go with the HD 1080 by 1920 at a frame rate of 29.7, which is essentially 30. Does anybody know why they just didn't make it 30? No? Okay, so because it was technically 30, but when they're sending signals through television, they didn't want signals to be mashing up, because when it goes through wire, a 30 frame rate would almost like interfere with another 30. So they slightly reduced the frame rate and avoid that problem with the data. Okay, so it's slightly off just so for that reason. But essentially, it's 30. Okay, so you would make this 5 seconds. My background, it doesn't matter because I can pick any color. It technically does not affect the rendered project. It's just more for you. Some people just like using black. Okay, so whatever you do, this doesn't matter because you actually have to pick the background color. It's just for preference. Technically, if you have this thing right here, you can have it transparent. Transparent means see-through. Okay. Now, you're going to create a 5 second countdown. Okay. I will give you an audio file that says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. To do this, guys, you're going to type out on the screen okay. Pick a nice big font. Now hold Shift. Now check out this technique. You should know how to shrink your timeline. If I zoom in on my timeline cursor, if you guys see this right here, there's this little slider that goes up and down. You'll notice as I get tighter, all these numbers show up. These are frames. Okay? So this is frame by frame animation. You can go one by one. Now, if my frame rate's 30, as you get towards 30, you'll see that it says 1. What does that mean? 1 second, okay? So use this to your advantage. If I know that my, and as you get closer and zooming in, you can use this bar as well, you'll notice that it clicks nicely to that 1 second, okay? I'm going to press the Alt and parentheses and trim that layer. So my, is exactly 1 second. Okay, so I'm looking for that accuracy and timing. Now, technically, if I just Command C and Command V this multiple times, now it doesn't know that I want to go backwards, so I'm going to hide this for a second. Go in. Now, this is going to confuse people. Well, sir, why is the 5 still there? Well, here's a trick. If I made my video, my sequence, my letter 1 second long, all I got to do now is just drag it. Let me back this out here so you can see what's going on, and move it so it's right after. You guys see how easy that is? That's a trick. So I'm just going to move these over, and you get this kind of pyramid style animation. Okay, so 5 shows up. That was 6. Well, I don't want it to be 6. So I'm going to click on that layer, or just double click and say I want it to be 4. Click on this one. Move the timeline. You can see that's wrong. 3. 2. And 1. Does it make sense, guys? Now, I messed up. This is not accurate, so I'm just going to boom. Now it's exactly 5 seconds. So when I play this through, but it's an accurate 5 second. It's not just you in your head, oh, it's 5 seconds. It's time to being 5 seconds based on the time code. Okay? Now, I'm going to stop the video for now. That's part 1. Part 2 is your ability to bring in another comp as the background. Okay?